Hey, it's your boy Easy, and on today's episode of Easy Opens, we're going to be taking a look at the Krampus figure from FreshMonkeyFiction.com's Naughty or Nice collection. They've got him listed as naughty, which makes sense considering Krampus and what they're known for, but nevertheless, want to give it its fair due and benefit of the doubt, I guess you could say, and set it free from its plastic prison and see if we agree that this is a naughty Krampus. Alright, so here's Krampus in his package, and I gotta say, I think he looks fantastic here, just all boxed up. So if you're a mock collector, I think you're gonna be really happy with this line because they look great in packaging, and the packaging is done really well, and will work with more than likely any of your general holiday decorations that you might have out during the holidays, obviously. Or if you keep them up all year, it'd still go well with that too, I would imagine. So you have options. However, they don't call this channel Easy Opens because of how good things look in the box. So let's get this thing open. All right, so here's Krampus, and he looks wild. I absolutely love the look of this figure. He has so much, I don't know, like life in him, if that makes sense. Like he looks like he could just come alive and be real at any moment and just jump off the shelf and grab whatever bad kids are around. He kind of has this look like if Gene Simmons was turned into a wolfman and then was possessed by a demon that manifested itself physically through his face. And I think it's a great look for a Krampus figure. Now, Krampus stands at a little over 6.5 inches with the horns, and will more than likely be able to fit in with any of your 1/12 scale action figures that you may have. Now, one thing that I absolutely love that I don't realize that it's a thing until I'm holding the figure in my hand is that Krampus has some weight to him. And that's awesome. He has some heft and he feels like how he should. I don't know if that makes sense, but it just feels right and substantial, and that's always a good feeling to me. And then surprisingly, this Krampus can hold a 1-foot pose even on a turntable, and that was impressive. I was not expecting that. The fact that he could stand on just 1 foot on the turntable, that's a testament to a pretty good, well-balanced figure. And speaking of feet and legs, this Krampus can do Van Damme splits. That was something else that was unexpected. Like, I didn't know that any version of Santa was this limber, but I mean, I guess it makes sense considering that they have to fit into chimneys mostly, but then if you don't have a chimney, I guess they just have to get in your house somehow. And it really helps to be limber, so that makes sense. So there you go. I should have known that, but it came as a surprise as I'm messing with the figure, and so that's really awesome. But we'll get into more of the articulation in a bit. But right now, let's get into the paint and the sculpt. So I probably should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, but we're going to talk about it here. This is the deluxe version of this character. Now, Fresh Monkey Fiction has a version of Krampus that is in the stereotypical red and white Santa attire. However, this one is in more of the subdued, darker, green, gray-ish Santa suit. And I kind of like it a little bit more than the red one. The red one's great and classic, and it pops very well, but this one looks a little bit more authentic maybe, or something that Krampus would probably pick out of his closet as opposed to the red one. And the reason that I chose the deluxe version was because Krampus is one of my wife's favorite folkloric cryptid type of characters, and I was like, why not just go ahead and get the deluxe version? And plus, like I just said, you know, he looks a little bit more like Krampus in these toned down colors. And so, yeah, that's the difference between the two. And well, one of the differences between the two. And the gray doesn't seem to pop as much as the traditional red does, but what it does do is draw your attention to his face, which is frightening. His yellow eyes are so piercing, and his teeth and tongue are just freaky. and it's so good, and it's in just the best way. Now, the buckles on his belt and shoes, really subtle, but really help to make this figure pop and just kind of like stand out when you're not expecting it. Like, you're not really thinking about that, but it does the trick. And I guess it's the green fur. I guess that's what that would be called on the shirt, like around the wrist and the collar going down the middle and down at the bottom. It's really well done and it works well. However, mine has some paint slop at the bottom, but it's not a big deal considering that that's, fur. It gets everywhere apparently. And so that, you can justify it. It's not a big deal. Now, another thing to mention is that these figures, a lot of them use the same body buck as most of the other Santas in the line. So if you get this Santa, so I have both the Cyborg Santa and this Santa, and they share the same body. I think the only thing different is the head and the hands and the paint, which is pretty standard by every toy line that's out there, parts reuse. But thankfully, they picked a really good body to do it on, because this thing looks great. It's got all the folds and just the way that the sculpt of the suit and then the shading and all of that works together. It really makes this figure come alive and works really well and just gives it some motion. And there's something about the combination of the paint, sculpt, and the plastic that they use that gives it this like texture. Like, I can't really explain it, but it looks like an actual suit that the figure is wearing, and it makes it look a lot more real as opposed to like a Marvel Legends figure that's just painted on detail. And given that they reuse the body, arms, and legs, the head sculpt gets most of the detail. And again, the only thing in regards to that is that the beard does hinder a little bit of the head movement, and that's really to be expected, so that's not really an issue at all. Now, back to this being the deluxe version of this figure, this character also comes with a bunch of accessories. I should say a bunch more accessories than his standard red version, so let's run those down. First off, comes with a list of names, naughty or nice, a black box, I guess that's a package, isn't it? That's a gift, that's a Christmas gift, with a green ribbon, a dark green stocking, a white naughty or nice figure stand, 2 lumps of coal, 2 green chocolate chip cookies, a black plate, a clear empty cup, some dark liquid to fill the cup, soft goods green sack, and a soft goods green cloak. Now, that's all awesome, and I always love more accessories. Like, that's just extra added onto the figure, especially if they're really neat and useful. And thankfully, Krampus can use most of these. He can hold the list of names, he can hold the green or black package, and he can hold the stocking, and he can surprisingly hold the plate and the cup, but I haven't found a way to get him to hold the cookies very well. So there's that, but they sit fine on the plate, and I mean, he's not, a monster. He's not gonna, well, I guess he is a monster. He's not a cookie monster that I know of, at least. So so that's fine, and they work well with what you need them to do. But the only issue I have is with these accessories is that I wish the soft goods green cloak would have had the bendy wire in it. That would have been awesome. And that's my complaint about any soft goods cloak or cape in general from any toy line, is that I would love it if you're gonna do it. I wish you would just put the wire in it, or make it in a way where it's easily customizable, so to where we can just get the wire and do it ourselves if need be. Nevertheless, the soft goods are really nice. They feel really good. They're quality stuff. And yeah, it's really cool, and I'm glad they come with it. But that wired cape would have put it over the top. That would have just like took it to another level for me. However, it's not a deal breaker. Now, let's talk about some articulation.
All right, so Let's start with the head. So the head, you can get it around and it goes 360, but he's not gonna look up very much at all because of the beard. But you get the arm and you get full range of motion there, as well as full range at the wrist, or the elbow I mean. You get a single jointed elbow, and then the wrist, the hand plugs in, so you can spin that around. Now, it's very tight to get around there, and I don't want to risk it, so I'm not gonna do it, but it seems like you can. He goes back a little bit, but not by much. You can go forward, but these joints are very, very, very tight, and yeah, I don't want to risk it really. But his legs, that's how he's together. He can he can do a stretch, a split really well. He's got thigh swivels. He's got, let's see if I can do it. He's got knee swivels. Got the knee joint, and then he's got forward and back, side to side ankle rockers, and I think that's everything. Oh, let me show you. He can kick about that far up, and you can't really go back too much, but can get back.
All right, so now let's see how he looks next to some other figures you might have in your collection. Here he is with Jazzware's Fortnite Slushy Soldier and Crackshot. Here he is with NECA's video game Slash and Hasbro's Transformers Red Megatron. Here he is with World of Nintendo's 4-inch Ludwig von Koopa and Hasbro's Marvel Legends Ghost Rider. Here he is with Storm Collectibles Baraka and Hasbro's G.I. Joe Classified Alley Viper. Here he is with Diamond Select's Immortal Hulk and Mattel's Masters of the Universe Classics Optic. And here he is with Hasbro's Power Rangers Lightning Collection Cog and SH Figuarts Kamen Rider Baron. And here he is next to McFarlane's Death Metal Bat Cycle. All right, so final thoughts. I was so excited to get these. I just couldn't wait. And once they got here, I was hit with a slight hesitation because they look so good in packaging that I was like, no, let me appreciate them and wait for just the right moment. And then I couldn't wait any longer. And I was so excited to get this figure open, and it has been so much fun ever since. Again, the main reason for getting him, besides the fact that my wife loves Krampus, was that I mostly wanted to display him with my Fortnite Christmas themed characters like Slushy Soldier and Crackshot, which he works well with, and also because in most every fictional toy property you could imagine, you could argue that a version of Santa exists and therefore could work with any collection, be it Power Rangers, Masters of the Universe, TMNT, or even Mortal Kombat. All that being said, I think Fresh Monkey Fiction did an amazing job with this figure. It looks great, it feels great, it's fun to play with, and again, it's just fun to admire on the shelf, be it in package or out. The only nitpicks I have are that I wish it would have come with more hands, just for a variety of things. Like, I don't know, maybe a fist or something to maybe hold some different weapons possibly, but now that I'm saying that out loud, the fist might not really work because like he's got those nails, so I don't even know if he could make a fist if he wanted to. That seems painful. And also what weapons would Krampus be holding? I mean, I think he really only needs to so I take that back. So maybe it's the action figure collector in me that wants to have more hands just in general for options. However, given the character, I think having the clawed, slightly open hand works really well because mostly he's going to be trying to get bad children and tell them, take them away, because that's what Krampus does. So I think I'm gonna take back that one. However, the wired cape would have been amazing if they would have put just the bendy wire in that cape. That would have put this figure over the top for me, and I would have been all about that. And again, what we have is awesome, and I've enjoyed this figure so much. So if you're into creepy figures, Santas in general, or just looking for a warmly dressed demon-looking figure to torment your Joes, Riders, or Legends, you definitely need to add Krampus to your wish list. All right, well, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you saw, please hit that like button and subscribe as well. And if you think I was loud and wrong about anything, or if you had some complaints, or if I missed anything, whatever the case may be, leave it in the comments below and let me know, because I want to know. So do that. And if for some reason you want to hear more from me, especially talking about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, be sure to check out my other YouTube channel, Turtle Soup Show, and you can do that on YouTube, or you can do that wherever you listen to podcasts. And yeah, that'd be awesome. So that's going to do it for me today. Else time.